Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're going to install these rear remotes on the TYM T25. The end game of the rear remotes is so we can use rear attachments and also to use our new backhoe. We've got that installed and there's a video coming out on that soon. After watching this video, you should probably be able to install the rear remotes in 30 minutes to an hour. It's a really easy job. Let's break this kit down. You have the new valve body with detent. Some valves spring back to the center. This one will stay in its own position to power your backhoe. You also have the quick connects. You have the lever for the valve. You have the two metal lines, the bolts, the O-rings, and all the adapters that you'll need. Next, you'll remove the two bolts at the rear of the seat that allows the seat to hinge forward. Hinge the seat forward and lift it out. This dude is heavy, so keep that in mind. Removing the seat will expose the top of the transmission and make it easier. You'll need to remove this hose first, and you'll need a little dry sweep because you will drop fluid. Next, remove the hydraulic line going to the top plate. This can be pretty tight, and you may need to have 2 wrenches to keep the adapter from backing out of the top plate. Once the line is loose, you will lose hydraulic fluid, and it's enough to make a mess. Next, you're going to remove the top 2 bolts. Be sure to replace the original O-rings with the ones that came in the kit. Keep it clean and keep the trash out of it. Next, you're going to remove the plastic plugs that are in the new valve. Install the 2 adapters onto the valve. These are the adapters that the metal lines will connect to. These adapters have O-rings, so you won't need to really crank down on them, just a good, firm, snug fit. You can tighten this down after it's mounted to the tractor. Next thing you're going to do is go ahead and replace the old O-rings with the new O-rings. The ones that come with the tractor are probably still usable, but they do have some flat spots, so go ahead and replace them. You'll feel them slip right into the indentations. Quick pause. There are O-rings under this new valve just like this. Don't lose them. Set the original cover back on the new valve and then put the 2 bolts through the top just to help guide them into place when you put it on top of the tractor. Next, you're going to set the valve body assembly back on top of the tractor, all simultaneously while guiding the rear lines into the adapters that go through the subframe. All of the T25s are already equipped with these adapters to go through the frame, so it's already there. Just hook the lines up. Once you get the lines put in the adapters, then you'll just start tightening these bolts down. You want to make everything loose. You don't want to tighten anything down permanently at this point in time because you're going to need the flexibility of wiggling it back and forth to get it done. Once the bolts are started on the valve body assembly, you want to snug them down. Not super tight, but you want to snug them down tight enough that you can tighten up the adapters on the back of this valve body assembly. Now that you have some pressure on the valve body assembly, you can tighten down the adapters without taking any chances of stripping threads out or putting too much cross pressure on it. Again, remember these are O-ring fittings, so don't just go crazy. Next, we're going to tighten up the fittings at the back where the metal lines go through the frame of the tractor. There's not a ton of room, but you can get your wrench in and keep turning and you'll get it tightened up. These are compression fittings, so make sure that you do put a little bit of torque on these. None of the fittings that you use under the seat will need any type of sealant. Tighten up both of the compression fittings on the metal lines going through the rear frame of the tractor. It's a little bit tight in there, but you can get to it if you just keep working at it. The nut will turn freely until it bottoms out on the compression fitting, and that's when you'll apply your oomph to it. These are good quality fittings, so don't go crazy on it. Once the lines at the back are tight, then you're going to move to the front and tighten the metal lines to the actual new valve body. You use the same procedures as you did at the back. The next thing to do is tighten the 2 top bolts. Next, put the hose back onto the existing fitting for the valve body. Make sure you use 2 wrenches so that you don't wind up the rubber line. So if you just keep cranking down on the front with one single wrench, the rubber line will just twist and twist until it either breaks or kinks in, like kinking a garden hose. It will definitely make it the weak point. Install the little red cover onto the lever for the new valve, and you can use my technique here of beating it on the transmission top to seat it. That is a copyrighted move. Next, install the lever onto the valve, then use the provided bolt to tighten the lever down. There's a lot of confusion on the internet as to what this valve is. This is just a rear remote valve that has a detent. If you turn it to the left, fluid will go out one side. If you turn it to the right, fluid will go out the other side. If it's in the center, it's neutral. Hang in there with me, guys. We're getting close to the end now. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take these little covers off. You're going to make sure those are cleaned out with like a brake cleaner. You want to make sure they're cleaned out with a brake cleaner. There's no gunk or anything in there. Then you're going to apply a little bit of pipe dope or pipe sealant, whatever you call it. You can also use Teflon tape. Put that around this fitting as it comes through the frame of the tractor. Remove the little rubber dust cover off the Pioneer Hydraulic Quick Connect. You'll appreciate this because it's so much easier to screw this on without that rubber booty on, and then you can always put that on afterwards very, very easily. I apologize for the shaky camera. There was just really a tight place to get in here to shoot this, and as you can see, there's not a lot of room to tighten this with a wrench. You have to keep rotating the wrench backwards and forwards to get it tightened up. But it is coarse thread, so it goes along pretty fast. This is pipe thread, so make sure you do tighten this one up tight. Place your dust cover on, and then you're ready to move to the other side. After you get both on, then it's time to put the seat on. So real quick, what we're going to do is we're going to pressure test this, and how we're going to do it is we're going to what call deadhead the pressure. I'm going to crank the tractor up, and then I'm going to pull the lever to one side. That'll pressurize one side. Then I'll do the same to the other side. If we have no leaks, then it's good. There's nothing more that we can do. So let's go ahead and crank it up and see what happens. Look down in here. Hear the engine go low under load. There's pressure on this side. No leaks. Pressure on the other side. No leaks. Now we're ready to put the seat back in, and we'll call this job done. Make sure that you top off your fluid before you put your seat back down permanently. Hey, if you hadn't seen this video, we put this top light bar on. It'll fit just about any tractor. Check it out on our channel.